was doing everything to be as healthy as possible because I'd had my babies at 40 and 45, and I wanted to be a healthy mom for them. And I was just getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And I remember even an endocrinologist I was seeing, and he was saying the same thing. You're doing everything right. I'm not sure why this isn't working. Just bad luck. Well, no, it wasn't. And not a personality flaw. Like I wasn't fatigued because I was lazy. I wasn't, all kinds of things that we start to blame ourselves for. And it turns out, no, there was a physiological thing going on here. Like when I stop and think that I'm healthier 2 weeks from my 62nd birthday than I've been since I was in my 30s, it's like, this is bizarre. So yeah, it's just such a big issue as we move to a harder and harder and harder focus on these really high oxalate foods. If I'd have got up in the morning and instead of shoving handfuls of spinach into my smoothie, I had been putting baby arugula or baby romaine or like almost any other green, all of a sudden I would have been able to get whatever benefit there is to smoothies. Now, I'm not absolutely convinced that smoothies are that good for you now. So, I mean, I've gone far off the radar at this point, but it would certainly have been a lot better for me than what I was doing. Yeah. And, almond butter and calling that a protein source. Well, A, it's way too much carbs for a protein source. And B, almonds are one of the highest oxalate nuts out there. And so when I stopped and thought about the amount of oxalate I had been taking in pretty regularly before I started lowering it, 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams a day would have been pretty average. If you're in the kidney stone world and they recommend a low oxalate diet, your textbook low oxalate diet should have you coming in around 50. So 2,000? Wow. It's way out there. And I had a client who started with me. Now, very analytical person, very methodical. She knew she was taking in over 3,300 milligrams of oxalate a day. But this is well within the realm of something you can do without knowing it. If you're focused on paleo, if you're focused on nuts, if you're focused on these high oxalate greens, if you're using things like teff as a gluten-free alternative, like there's all kinds of things here you can just stumble into and not realize the amount of damage you might be doing. We're not paying attention to the anti-nutrients in the food. So we become obsessed with spinach because there's iron in there. But there's all these other things in there, and probably a large proportion of the iron is actually bound to oxalate. It's not actually going to help you. So it's a problem of where our focus is at the moment. And what I'm hoping to do is provide more context so that people can make better choices about what foods they're picking.